Well guys, I finally did it. The unthinkable, the unimaginable. I put a bow mount trolling motor on the front of my Malibu V-ride. Let's secure this with this quick release here. Isn't she beautiful? I'm so proud of her. Anyway, this isn't just any trolling motor. This is a Minn Kota Terrova 80-pound thrusts, 24-volt system. This thing's a beast. Totally enough power to push this thing around. The thing that motivated me to get this model was seeing it on these saltwater offshore vessels. Seemed like it's got enough guts to push one of these things around in a lake. And you know, I'm talking like Lake Havasu, high winds, high chop scenarios, bobbing up and down. This 54-inch shaft right here has got enough length to get me deep into the water. So usually, I mean, I've already deployed this thing before. Wanted to make sure this thing worked before I made this video for everybody out there. Make sure that I'm doing you a solid. Let's take a deeper look into this thing, how I put this bad boy on here. All right, here we are, closer, the front of my boat. So this Malibu V-ride has a pretty flat nose. It's a small surface, so I just went ahead and designed this plate here on the front of my boat out of marine board or starboard is what it's called, and it's basically cutting board material. It's plastic, it's HDPE, whatever you want to call it. Let me show you how I came up with a way to simply find the contours of the front of the bow of this boat and how I went ahead, made myself a template out of cardboard, and then just transferred it and cut it out, man, with the jigsaw, and then routed the edges of this thing so that it's nice and clean, siliconed it with marine grade silicone, you know, not that whatever 5200 or 5600 that makes it permanent, but you know, what was it, 4200? I forget, whatever, the removable stuff. It's not gonna, you know, mess up your gel coat. And look at that bad boy. One other quick point I wanted to make about this install, and it's super important, you know, just in the stowed position, you know, you want to make sure, obviously, that it deploys properly, and you're gonna clear your bow rail here and all that, but you want to see where this thing's gonna sit when it's stowed, because there are gonna be times when you're out there in the lake and there's gonna be people on your boat, and you want to make sure there's space. So I sat it on the rail, and if you look, it's like just on the edge of like where the widest part of my boat is. I mean, I am super confident. I've been out there on the water, pulled up to docks, put it back on my trailer, and I have, you know, guides on my trailer right there. I took that into account. You know, that's one thing that you got to think about. Where is this thing gonna sit when it's stowed, okay? And still be functioning and operable and close to the center line of the boat like the manufacturer recommends, right? So when you're dry fitting it, hold it up there. Have someone else hold it up there. I had my daughter hold it up there. She's 12. So she said, "What's up? Where is she?" There you are. All right, but you know, it doesn't take up that seating, that precious seating in the front. Everyone wants to ride in the bow, you know? So there's another little thought for you. All right, guys, I just wanted to give you a shot of how this actually works, this quick release that came, you know, I bought it as a set, you know, from Minn Kota. This is a quick release bracket, super simple. These are really, I mean, these are so tight in here. When that thing is in there, there is no movement of the motor. It's super important to have a level surface here on this plane right here, because if it doesn't, it is gonna wobble, or actually, you're not even gonna be able to install this thing because the puck has to be level, this plate has to be level. You have to check all that, dry fit it before you do anything. Okay, I mean, I dry fit this thing so many times. My wife was laughing at me, she's out here. I'm out here in the rain doing this, but there she goes, that easy. All right, so you see what you're left with there. Let me go ahead and take this camera off the mount here real quick. All right, so we're just left with that puck, okay? That's the main source of the torque right there. These guys right here, this is what's getting it. And then back in this area, when you're thrusting, this thing is just whoa, whoa, right? So you need to have a backing plate on this bad boy, okay? This is 1/2 inch starboard or marine board. And on the underside is also 1/2 inch marine board. It is templated out like I cut it exactly the same. It's literally this big. There's nothing underneath this bow in terms of electricity. There's a cable running for this light that's easily avoidable. There's nothing else under here. There's a couple little mounting blocks that the manufacturer put in to just literally, they glued them up there with some 5200 or whatever and screwed in some zip ties to hold up the cable. That's it. So you can avoid those easily. Make a plate underneath, take the time, do it right. I countersunk all of these holes. I also, sorry guys, it's hard to see. I measured out the distance between all of these holes, okay? I wanted it to look bitchin'. I mean, I know it's kind of a thing you're putting on the front of your boat. You know, you have a pretty boat. You want it to be pretty. Okay, look it, I mean, the uniform, it looks like it belongs. I don't even know if I shot that. There we go. It's beautiful. Okay. Let's take it a step deeper. All right, guys. How did I come up with the design and how to get all these angles right? How to do this? This is how, okay? I took a piece of construction paper, all right? This is not size. I used a bigger piece than this. Obviously, it went the whole way. I just don't have any. It was a scrap piece I had laying around for my daughter, one of my daughter's projects, okay? So I took this piece, it's windy out here. I taped one side down. Literally, I unscrewed this light, let it hang off the front a little bit, and went straight across this line here. I had the paper laying underneath the light and I put it back on top of the paper, right? I wanted to go around this light. I wanted it to look like it was built into this boat. So I thought that little bit, you don't have to go around that. You can make your piece to go like, you know, off and around and do it how you want, but I thought it'd look a little more custom if I went around that light and cut it out and just made it a little prettier, you know? I like my angles. So how I did it is like, if you can see construction paper, it's thick. And it also, I mean, you get a clean piece, but look what happens when you get it. See how flat that is? You get that and you crease this edge here and you're gonna be left with that perfect angle. I mean, look at, can you guys see that in the, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that line, I mean, continue it, like pretend this is it. This is your line and you just crease it, baby, right down the line. You tape that edge so it's super tight. You pull it tight across, you crease this side all the way up, okay? You even can, I didn't crease this part. First, I just got the angles, then I taped it down and I got my cardboard piece. Then when I got my cardboard piece, I went underneath and I stenciled this with a pencil, okay? But look at, you get easy clean lines to follow, dude, on a piece of construction paper. I hope you can see that. But I cut that out. I followed that same, I just cut it out with scissors, like really clean, really slow. I made it super straight. This is not a straight line, guys. This bows in, okay? You can't just cut a straight line. This goes in at a nice little bitching curve, okay? So do this, take the time, cut it out in paper, then dry fit the paper. Make sure the paper's following the angles. It's perfect. Tape it down, look at it, put it just underneath the light right there, stencil around to cut out the light, you know? Take your time. Here's the first version of what I ended up with, okay? Okay, this is here, I put it on there, it went around the light. I was like, yes, I nailed it. But anyway, this was one solid piece. I removed this cushion to make my life easier. Was it easy to remove that cushion? It was not easy. That was so hard. I could not believe how many self-tapping like bolts basically. I mean, they weren't like just screws, these things were huge into the back of this thing, but hey, it is solid, it is tight, and there's 3 bolts that go in here. I took some pictures of that process. So I mean, I wish I would have videotaped all of this for you guys, but this is gonna walk you through it. It's gonna give you the confidence to do this yourself. I'm not kidding, this is doable, guys. So here we go. I put that plate that's on there, which is on the trolling motor, the base. It comes separate from the motor. You have to install it on the motor. It's just a bracket, it's super simple. So I dry fit the trolling motor on this taped down cardboard. I taped it all down right where I wanted it, put the trolling motor up on here, traced the bracket, went, okay, that's it right there. So then I knew I had to go out. I measured the distance that I needed to deploy this motor without having any issues with hitting my side rail, because I had to get it over the edge, okay? You gotta make sure that you have clearance, guys. So then I found that measurement and I cut out another piece of cardboard. I set that on there. I set the trolling motor on this with this piece underneath, like this. Put the trolling motor on top and then stenciled out the entire thing, okay? Now once you got that stenciled, cut out the new piece of cardboard. This is a lot of steps, guys, but guess what? I think I got it right, okay? I got it right. So these holes here, this one and this one here, are not from the manufacturer. I'm sure they recommend not to do it this way, but hey, it works. I put these in for that extra support in the back. I'm missing this screw. It's in a really awkward place to be. I'd be screwing into the rail right here. It's just not a good idea, okay? I didn't want to crack the gel coat and mess up the fiberglass. It would have been pointless. So another point is, after I drilled my holes here and set the bolts, I went one by one. I drilled a screw. I had this piece of marine board after I cut it, and I routed the edges to make it a soft edge so that no one hurts themselves on it. Attempt this at home. Maybe not in your home. After I did that, I used the countersink bit that I have to bore out the fiberglass a little bit. I just saw that on some other guys' videos. I had no idea about that, but apparently it's what you want to do. So you can look that up, because it's definitely something. You look up drilling into fiberglass. Okay, you want to bore out that hole a little bit so you don't get any cracking or spidering, I guess they call it, okay? So do that. I did a lot of research. There's some other guys out there. I'm gonna get the names for you. Maybe in the next couple minutes here, I'll figure it out. But I watched some videos of really, really helpful installs. Dude, there's just one dude out there that just like kills it. I wish I could fly him out here to do it for me. Anyway, enough about that. I put that same marine grade silicone in these holes before I put this board on here, okay? I put a bead around the entire edge as well. And then I went around, and if it wasn't squeezing out the side, I filled it in, So each one of these bolts going into the hole is going into the top of my boat here. I just filled it with silicone, put the bolt through, okay? I want this thing to be watertight. I don't want mold and stuff growing underneath this, okay? This has got to be forever. This is a big deal, okay? Another note, check this out. Remember this quick release bracket? Well, I got it designed, it's going in on this side, okay? You guys got to think about every little aspect of your install, okay? This comes in this side, no problem, but look, I mean, I'm close there, dude. The bracket comes here, but look, it's not going to go in on this side, okay? It will not go in on this side. Think about where your install's got to be. This piece has to be able to go in level, and you have to have clearance to get it in there. It will not go in like this, okay? You got to put it in straight. There's no slight little bit of leeway on any of this. Level, it has to be level. You will be so bummed when you get this installed, it's not level. This stuff is sandable. It's totally woodworking tools. Work with this stuff, guys. It is really easy to work with. So if you weren't quite level, you could probably shave it. You could sand it a little bit, give it a little shave, and figure it out, But, so what I go over, I got backing plate. I got, this seat came out because I can't get in here to the front. My arms are too short, and it's way easier. Get this cushion off. You got like all kinds of room to play with. All right, let's take you into another step. All right, so how do you plug this thing in? Here's where I am hiding my plug right here. This is the bow you were just looking at. The cable goes that way back to the battery compartment, which I'll take you to in a second. But this is just a quick release. It's super simple. It's a 2-prong thing. I didn't need to go the whole, you know, hard mount with the bitchin' plug. I'd love to do that somewhere, but where am I gonna put it? I got vinyl everywhere, you know? So I got it stowed. It's hidden back here. It's zip tied right above it right here. I'm not gonna get you in there. You can't really see it. So the cable's just running under here. It's zip tied to some pre-existing cable harness already. It was easy. This is 6-gauge cable, guys. Super important to go heavy on this. It's a 24-volt system. I'm not sure that I think that Minn Kota recommends 8, but whatever, I went 6. This is marine grade cable. It's got a thicker lining, and I think this quick connect was from Minn Kota also. I don't know, I think I typed in Amazon quick Minn Kota Minn Kota quick release, you know, plug or something, and it came up. You can find it. It's easy. Oh, these are all quarter 20. These are all quarter 20 bolts. The ones going through here are 3.5 inches long, and they're all flat head, not the domed ones. Okay, there's these that come. You'll get confused. You'll think it's flat head just by looking at it. Make sure it says flat head on there, because otherwise those domed ones, they stick up. You can't have anything sticking up past that countersunk hole, okay, or it will not work. All right, let's go back to the battery compartment. Check that out. All right, we're in here. Here we are. All right, first thing you're gonna notice is it's plugged in. Okay, so I got the Minn Kota precision charger. I went ahead and spent the money on this. I thought, why the heck not? This is an investment. These batteries are not cheap, okay? These are AGM batteries. I went with these Optimas, the Blue Top series. It's supposed to be awesome. They got good reviews. I don't know. Some people have different things to say about AGM batteries, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it out. I'm a newbie to this trolling motor situation. I've been fishing forever off this wakeboarding boat, and you know what? I play the drift pretty darn good with the best of them, guys, but I'm over it. I need some control. So you'll probably notice first thing, these are not the proper battery trays for this type of battery. They're too big. I'm putting some spacers in here. The reason I got these trays is because I don't know if I'm gonna end up living with these batteries. I might, you know, ride them till they die and switch out to something more of this nature, you know? I don't know. I don't know what I want, guys, so I wanted options. They make some custom Optima battery holders that were pretty cool and really appealing to the eye, but I don't care. I'm just gonna, I want these things to be locked in place, which they are. They already are, just like this. But I'm gonna put some little blocks of wood right in this area just to make sure they don't slide around, which they don't anyway, but you never know if I hit some big chop. Let's take a closer look over here. So we got our Minn Kota precision charger. This is the model I went with. I wish I would have went with the 3-bank unit. This was kind of dumb on my part because I didn't think about my starting motor battery. I wish I would have. So I'm here telling you, think about that option. There's a circuit breaker right there that also doesn't come with it. This is all extra stuff. This is all, you know, recommended by the manufacturer. So do it. I mean, put the circuit breaker in there. Electrical on a boat is no joke, guys. Do not play around with this stuff. You do not want to start a fire. Take your time, research it, do it right the first time. These are in series, okay? Now, I mean, I guess I could tell you a little bit. There's videos all over the place about this, but all right, so that positive right there is coming from the trolling motor, okay? Through that circuit breaker and goes to the positive of the first battery, okay? Sorry, that's not the positive, that's the negative. The positive of this circuit breaker goes to the positive of the first battery. Then the negative of the trolling motor, which comes from right here, that goes all the way to the trolling motor. That's the negative it goes to the next battery in line, battery number 2, okay? The high side battery. Then simply take the negative of the low battery or the number 1 battery, whatever, and go to the high battery, the positive of the high battery, okay? All these other little cables, I'm talking about these, you know, these 6-gauge heavy cables, not these little guys. These little guys are the cables to the charger, okay? That's it. And they stay plugged in all the time. This blinking means it's in maintenance mode. It's just taking care of my batteries. It's got several different options of what kind of battery to choose. That's why I got it, because it can handle AGMs, and you just have to select that, and it remembers it. Every time you plug it in, you don't have to tell it. It just remembers. Super simple. I also got an alternator charger because, I don't know, I do a lot of wakeboarding as well, guys. So, I mean, I run the boat. So why not charge the batteries? I'm gonna put it right here on some marine board. This is kind of a thin wall, I think, because it's kind of the side. This is the wall. I don't want to come through this. I got a couple places I can, you know, mess up if I go high with the bolts, but I don't want to mess this up. So I'm going to take a bunch of self-tapping those, just shorter screws, and distribute the weight around a marine board, you know? The same kind of stuff I built the mount on the front with, okay? I got this cool little thing to, here, let me set this down real quick. Sorry. I got this to, you know, plug in to stow it, just, you know, so when it's not being used, it's up out of the way, and that comes with it, okay? That came with the charger, so that's cool. That's a cool little feature they thought of. What else underneath here? Nothing underneath this side. Okay, I did put some stuff underneath I'm gonna take you underneath the ignition circuit here, okay? Okay, hey, let's see. Can you see it? Let me see. Okay, there she is. All right. Now, this red cable coming up that you can see, this little guy, that's going to the compass, the puck. It's what everyone calls it anyway, but it's like a heading sensor. That's what they call it. Okay, that's hooked up to my ignition, so I actually have it going to constant power. That one goes to constant. Be careful messing around with this stuff, guys. This is all hot. That's a hot cable right there. You bridge these right here, and you're jump starting your motor, okay? So don't touch, when you're playing around back here, don't touch any metal objects to this and that, okay? You're gonna jump start your motor. It's gonna freak you out. You're gonna freak everybody out, and you also may get hurt, okay? Be careful. So take the time, research what these cables do, test it with the test light, make sure there's power going to things. You know, I think they recommend keeping this plugged into hot all the time instead of going on and off. I mean, think about it. If you got it hooked up to an ignition circuit, you're going to shut off the power to it when you go to use your trolling motor. So that's kind of counterproductive, right? Yeah. So hook it up to something that's got constant DC power. It doesn't drain your battery when it's not plugged in. It only works when the trolling motor is on. If it senses it, it finds it, and it goes high, and they connect, okay? So you only have to connect it once, which is a really cool thing. You power down the motor. I'm taking you out to take a look at that thing right now. You power down the motor. Oh, God. You do have to be a contortionist to do this job, by the way. But here is where I mounted my puck, okay? Here's the Minn Kota puck, the heading sensor. There's the arrow right there pointing towards the bow of your boat. That's gonna be your true north autopilot sensor, dude. You're gonna love that feature. The autopilot is so cool, man. The autopilot and the spot lock, oh, dude, game changing. Okay, so this mounting requires one hole through your boat right here for the cable to go through and connect to where I just showed you, okay? Or any just 12 volt. Just power it up with some 12 volt constant power, okay? Because it only turns on when it's when the actual trolling motor is powered on, right? I also recommend, you know, they give you these self-tapping screws that come with this, and you want to do a pilot hole, okay? Do a pilot hole and hand. Don't do this with a drill, a gun, okay? Do this with a hand screwdriver. Don't crack your gel coat or this plastic, okay? Just take your time with it. You'll be super bummed if you go through finding the perfect spot and you got all this clean fiberglass around this and then crack, you know? So don't do that. You're also likely to break off a screw in there, okay? These things will break off. The fiberglass is so dense, it's crazy how it will bind a screw and it will break. So just do it by hand. Doesn't take time, it's easy. All right, I think that about sums up the electrical part of it. I might do a video on you know, how I set up this alternator charger, and or at least give you a screenshot of it when I set it up over there. That's also got to run over to it. That one you want on an ignition circuit, one that turns on and off with the key, okay? So that it actually charges the battery, takes the juice from that once it's charged, and it goes, cycles it to those. And they also make a GM marine grade alternator charger, Minn Kota. I think it's the MK2, which I have right over there, ready to be, where are you? Come on, folk, there it is. Excited about that. So those big camping trips to Lake Shasta, those are gonna be fun, man. Now, hopefully I won't have to take my boat in and out of the water to charge my batteries or lug batteries all over the place. So, pretty clean setup, pretty easy. You know, there's tons of tutorial videos, not tutorials, but just demos of installs on trolling motors. And all right, guys, moment of truth here. We got this thing installed. Does she work? Did this guy actually put this thing on here and make it work? All right, let's turn this power on. I'll deploy it here. I'm just gonna do it a few inches just to make sure that, you know, you guys can see how this thing works. And it's all golden. It's hard to see because this driveway is really steep, so it's not, doesn't look level, but it works, man. I've got it out in the water already, and she's perfect. I will do some more videos in the future, actually, on the water, showing you how this thing actually maneuvers this boat around, no problem. Okay, so here we go. I powered her on. We got this, you know, Minn Kota really put some thought into this, man. I mean, not that this isn't a standard thing, but this, just everything about this motor, I really feel like I'm taking advantage of years and years of other people's experience. So, you know, holding out this long to do this, bonus round for me. Like I said, 80 pounds of thrust. This thing pushes, or should I say pull? It pulls and pushes my boat, no problem. Here we go. So this locking collar serves two purposes, in my opinion. I mean, it is a safety. This thing, if it accidentally deploys somehow, this gets hit, whatever, my daughter hits it, we're full speed, who knows? My dog comes up here and on the bow and it is not gonna go, it's not gonna go, okay? So I'm getting in the habit, this is new to me, so I'm getting in the habit of always putting this collar back into this position when I'm actually gonna put my boat under power and go full speed, okay? So I'll put it up. Super easy to move, so why wouldn't you just put it back down? It's safety, guys. Be safe out there. So here we go. Plus this stuff's expensive, man. You don't want to mess it up. So I put this down about, I don't know, it's 13 inches or so. I'm gonna put the motor, normally I'd put it back this way, but I'll hit my boat. So I'm gonna just be careful. I'll put it out this way. Okay, here we go. So this distance between the rub rail and the shaft, the manufacturer, Minn Kota, recommends 1.5 inches, okay, of clearance there. If you don't do that, you know, and you get into some bumpy scenarios, that the shaft does tend to, you know, bow a little bit here and there, but I mean, you could probably go a little less than that, but I'm not gonna say anything. I say go by the manufacturer's recommendations, go for it, guys, because they've thought it out, they've got the experience, go with what they say is right. All right, so we got this thing powered on, it's here. Looks like I'm not gonna hit anything if I do anything, okay. I got the iPilot version. I have no foot pedal, no nothing. This is literally all I need for my style of fishing. I'm a bass fisherman, I'm a striper fisherman. I have to do all of that, okay? So I don't go in the ocean though, but not with this boat. So I hit the check mark, I turn this thing on. I hit okay because it's telling me be safe out there on the water. And let's go ahead and see if she works. I'm gonna put it on just half speed. It's turning. This thing goes fast, dude. I mean, when you put it up to 10, which by the way is going to waste your batteries pretty quick. I mean, I've never spent my batteries. I've been out on the water all day, like probably a solid 6 hours on the water, using the crap out of this trolling motor, just trying to see what it's capable of, and plotting tracks around my favorite lake, which is Castaic Lake right here, local for me. You know, plotting little tracks and showing it off to the missus. It's really cool, guys, to be able to just go to the memory and go, oh, track 1, yeah. You know, and I actually, you know, little tip for you, because it just says 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I haven't figured out how to name, I don't know if you can name it. That's probably in the future, you know, but for right now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 saving, whatever, all the way through like 15 tracks you can save into this thing. And I found it beneficial to go, you know, clockwise or counterclockwise, that's the flow of your lake, you know. So starting at the front portion and go 1, 2, 3, 4 around the lake to plot your tracks that you're saving, because you'll just forget, you know. I mean, I know me, I'll be like, what was track 3? And then suddenly you're, you know, or maybe, I don't know, maybe this thing remembers how you're close, what you're closest to. Anyhow, so she works, she turns. There's also an app that you can get on your phone, and it's super simple to install, use, and I feel like it's just a safety feature, man. If you don't remember this remote, or you're like left it in the garage, or your batteries die on it or something like that, which I think it just runs on AAA batteries, your phone can be a lifesaver, dude. You're out there and, oh yeah, oh, it's right here on my phone via Bluetooth. I can control this thing in the water. All the stuff there, I don't think the memory locations are on the app, but it gives you all the functions. It gives you the north, it gives you the anchor, you know? It gives you all the good stuff, the speed and steering. So, I mean, look at how easy this thing is to deploy. Pardon the tree trimming going on, but here we go. I mean, my daughter can do this, guys. I'm gonna just turn it around so I don't twist my cable up. But my daughter did this, okay? This is easy. All right, safety that back down. Like I said, I'm trying to get in a habit, good habits. All right, I'm gonna power it off because I'm done with all the little showing stuff. You know, you gotta look up how to link this to that. You don't have to look it up, it's all in the manual. And also you get this cool little cheat sheet, which is like made out of some waterproof material for your remote on this iPilot model. And it tells you all the little shortcuts, all the little tips, tricks, and how to record a track, how to engage spot lock, you know, what to do when you're, you know, going into spot lock, which is, you know, don't be going full speed and then hit spot lock. I learned that the hard way. You just basically will sit there and like move around and around. You kind of slow the motor down, get yourself kind of in a neutral position, head into the wind, make it easy for your motor, use common sense. You know, put yourself into the wind, then hit spot lock. And man, does it work. It holds this boat in wind. I mean, we were, I think, probably like only like, it was like 12-mile-an-hour wind or whatever, but it felt, you know, pretty substantial. And we were just like head into it. I was backed right into this little cove, and because I was cruising along the shoreline, and I'm like, oh, I want to stop here and fish this spot for a little while. Put that on and bam, smallmouth. Love it. Who doesn't love that? So cool little cheat sheet. I keep it in my boat because it's not that complicated, but I don't know. I want to make sure I'm utilizing every little aspect of this tool that I have now. You know, it really is a tool, you know? It's a toy for me, but it's a tool. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please subscribe. I'm going to come out with some new content on the water. I just thought this might be cool for some people to see. I haven't seen this kind of install on any kind of wakeboarding boat ever. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I sure as heck searched the internet for any kind of like install videos on this thing, and I couldn't find anything. But anyway, you could just do a plate right here. I went with this whole outlining of the frame and got really intricate with it because I thought it would look better. You know, this is a beautiful boat and I wanted to keep it that way. I don't want just some plate on the front. I think it would just look out of place, and I thought this might be more stylish and cool. And also it just really distributes the weight around the bow a lot more. You know, I feel like it's on there. I mean, look at this thing. This is just the motor shaking, but I'm shaking that mount like crazy and it is not budging. So hats off to Minn Kota with this quick release mount. I mean, what's left there after I take the motor off it's minimal, man. I mean, they make several mounts, so, you know, do your research, buy the best one for you, and, you know, hopefully this helped you in some way, because I know that when I was looking for it, I found several great videos on installations, but nothing like this. So, you know, give it a shot, use your common sense, use your safety, you know, running your electrical, make sure you know what you're doing. Just look at video. I mean, it's all online, it's all on YouTube. Look at some videos, maybe I'll link them down in the description there for you to make it even easier for you, because there are several. Lunch is ready. I gotta go, guys, but there's several videos out there on just marine electrical. And I mean, I found this guy that does a whole course, and I'm just taking, I have time, you know, so I'm at home with this coronavirus thing, lockdown, I'm gonna learn something, right? I'm gonna use my time wisely. So I decided marine electrical, why not? I mean, let's be safe out there, guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the water.